Hey everybody, welcome back to the Black Mental Wellness Lounge. I am so excited to continue with Black Youth Suicide Prevention Week. It's been great. We've dropped a number of videos. I think we're trying to get to almost 6 videos for this week, and we're also dropping a ton of infographics. So subscribe to Black Mental Wellness Lounge. Tap in on Instagram at Black Mental Wellness Lounge. And for those of you who may be new to the page, this YouTube channel is dedicated specifically to talking about mental health in our community. So what does it mean for us? What does it mean for the Black community? All of those things, we get into some really real conversations. And so excited to bring this episode to you. And I've been shouting out organizations throughout this entire week, and I wanted to shout out the AAKOMA Project with their work and what they've been able to do to improve the mental health of youth of color, and in particularly working in suicide prevention, releasing reports and data and info around Black mental health and suicide prevention. And so we've been talking about this issue, and a big piece of what we've been talking about and sharing previously about this issue is that it's always great when you have people with massive platforms, a presence, people who are celebrities, people who are well known, wanting to talk about this topic. Because once we start, getting this topic out and people are tapped in, the more people know about it, the more resources we can share, and the better we all are. And so I have someone on today who is practicing that very thing, to have a conversation today and using her platform to shed awareness about this. And so I want to welcome Ms. Candiace Dillard to the Black Mental Wellness Lounge. How are you?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Brandon. It's great to be with you, and I'm excited to talk about one of my favorite things, which is mental health, particularly as you speak of in the Black community, because our mental health is tested and tried, I think, probably more than most in this country. So it is even more imperative that we be diligent about the way that we care for ourselves and care for our mental health and mental spaces.
Listen, I can put that better myself, 100%. All the stuff that we carry, having these conversations is so critical to this point. So most people who are tapping in probably know you. We've seen you, we've heard you sing, we've seen all the things, right? But for those people who may be tapped in who aren't as familiar with you and all the things that you bring to the table, could you introduce yourself to the Black Mental Wellness Lounge?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Candiace Dillard Bassett. I am a proud, now 2-time graduate of Howard University. I just completed my MBA, my Master of Business Administration, at Howard Business School. I was a communications major. I studied broadcast journalism at Howard as an undergraduate student. And I'm an entrepreneur. I am a recording artist. I'm an actor. I'm a television personality. Many of you may know me from that crazy show on Bravo TV, The Real Housewives of Potomac. My debut album, Deep Space, released not even a year ago, and we're already releasing a deluxe version of Deep Space. I'm getting ready to go on tour with my album, Deep Space, doing 5 cities starting October 19th. So gearing up for that. So needless to say, my mental health is tested on the daily because of the multitude of things on my plate. And, I'm a wife. I am a bonus mom. I just completed an IVF journey that we talk a lot about on the show this upcoming fall. So I'm excited to share that with you all. And I just think that it's really important to have conversations about mental health. Like I said, namely because our community is attacked from so many different arenas, from healthcare to marriage to broken families to the workplace to the economy. We face so many challenges. As persons of color, it's important that we are keeping our mental health at the front of our minds. I come from a home where mental health was a topic that was discussed more openly and freely than maybe some others. My mother works in mental health. Is that me? No. Oh, sorry. That wasn't my.
No.
No. So my mother works in mental health. She has for 30 years. She has a very successful practice in the Atlanta area. So I grew up in a home where, talking about your feelings and talking about mental wellness and therapy was commonplace. But as I grew, and left the home and, traveled to DC to attend Howard University as a young, burgeoning journalism student at the time, I learned quickly that, talking about mental health and wellness at that time was not always so commonplace. I think that now it's become kind of a trend in a way to speak about mental health. We also have to be careful of that space as well, because the ways in which we're talking about our mental health, is it because we are truly massaging and working through our issues, or is it just the thing to talk about because now it's cool to go to therapy or talk about your therapist? So you have to keep that in check as well. So all of that and more is why I'm here.
Listen, I mean, I should get you to host. We need to co-host or something. We need to get you. Look,
I'd be down for that. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So with all the things that you shared and all the things that you're, engaged with, all the things that you do, hard to even know how you find time to do anything outside of like all these things that you have on your plate. Like, how do you take care of yourself? Like, how do you take care of your mental health? Like, with all the things that you're juggling, like, what's your like method of just like, this is how I manage my own mental health?
Well, if I'm being honest, lately it has been it's been challenging. I think that when you are an ambitious person, a lot of times you can overwhelm yourself with your own ambition. And I'm kind of sitting squarely in that place right now, with having just finished my MBA. I don't recommend completing an MBA program while filming a reality TV show. I don't advise that.
Yeah, a little bit of a stretch, like doing both,
That
right?
is a lot. That was a lot. And then, I was working on my album around that same time. And then we released my album. And then I was doing shows and gigs at the same time that I'm like turning in homework for my statistics class and my entrepreneurship class and writing papers. And my bonus kids were here at one point, and I'm doing, juggling all of these things. And it's a lot. And I admittedly don't get it right all the time.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to say that, because it's easy to look at someone in my position who maybe looks like they have it together on a TV show. I look like I've got a beautiful home and I have all this money and I have a mom that, gave me a charmed life and a husband that dotes on me and spoils me. So maybe it looks like I'm, like my life is without struggle and looks like my life is perfect. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. I'm an overthinker. I am someone who suffers from anxiety. I'm someone who has suffered from high functioning depression. I'm someone who has had to be medicated for anxiety. I don't have it all together. And I'm a procrastinator. So I deal with, when you're a procrastinator who also has anxiety, it's like, girl, what are you doing? So to answer your question, how how do I make it all work? It doesn't always work.
Yeah.
There are days when I wake up and my manager has given me like 30 directives that he needs ASAP, and my music director is asking for something, and my Bravo publicist needs me to do a drop for this
Mm.
this TV network. My um my one of my Bravo one of the editors needs me to record something for audio. My mom needs me to do something for our family business. My husband wants to spend time with me. My sister needs help moving into her new house. I need to pay 6 bills. I got to pay 6 people on my payroll. Like, and
Right.
I'm in the bed like, Jesus, please send me help.
Right.
Um, and you literally just have to take a breath. And
Mm.
I do a lot of breathing. I do a lot of deep breathing.
Cool.
I
Cool.
do a lot of praying. I'm a praying woman.
Yeah.
I will go into just 5 minutes of just prayer,
Yeah.
just recite. I'm Baptist, but I went to Catholic school. So a lot of the ways I approach my relationship with God, some of Catholicism creeps in there. So I will
Yeah.
just do 5 minutes of the Our Father just to like
Yeah.
calm me down. I'll just
Right.
talk to God and say, just thank him for what he's given me and where he's put me in life. Because it can be easy sometimes when you're overwhelmed with blessings to start to complain and
Mm.
forget that you're blessed. And so I will just go into a prayer of gratitude just to get me
Yeah.
out of the panic place that I'm in. But it's trial and error. There is
Mhm.
not a perfect way to deal with stress. There is not a perfect way to deal with anxiety. There is not a perfect antidote or solution to chaos and to stress and to overwhelmedness. It's you literally have to find what works best for you.
Right.
um, I'm an advocate of therapy. I'm kind of between therapists at the moment because
Yeah.
I'm an advocate of interviewing your therapist and
Yes.
deciding when you have outgrown a therapist and when
Right.
it's time to move on and find someone who can better suit where you are in your journey at whatever place you're in. That's To me, that is so important. It can be
Yeah.
just as harmful or detrimental to stay in a relationship with a therapist that's not serving you as it is to not have one.
Right. Absolutely.
So the answer is not perfect. The answer is I am a work in progress and I work on me every hour. And that's how I manage working on me every hour.
Listen, again, so many good pieces, and I think it's good for people to hear you say like it's not perfect. It's not an exact science. Like it isn't, and sometimes I'm not good with it. It's not something I always have together because there are so many people in our community that like feel that because they have certain things, they can't feel like they're struggling with their mental health. They can't be experiencing a depressive episode or dealing with anxiety and those things. And so to say like, it may look like things are all together, but sometimes they're not. Like the picture looks a certain way, but I'm not in this space where like, oh, I can knock all 50 things out today.
No, no. There are days when my anxiety will be so bad that I will set out to do 10 things and I am lucky if I get 2 of them done and
Yeah.
barely. It is a challenge some days. And some days I'm a beast and I like knock everything off the list and I'm like,
Right.
I'm patting myself on the back because
Right.
I'm a superwoman that day. But
Yeah.
every day is not like that. Every day is not that way.
Absolutely. It's a journey. Like it's a journey. We're all putting those things together. But I appreciate your honesty with that and the piece about therapy is important. We've talked about and had an episode on about finding a therapist, interviewing a therapist, finding the right therapist, what to do when it's not the right therapist. Those
Yeah.
things
Ooh,
happen, and and then not to quit. So if you
right.
get one and you're like, and you have to cut them off, like, don't
Yes.
stop there. There is someone out there for you. It just may take a little bit.
You have to invest. I was on a Twitter Spaces last
Uh,
night. There's a woman named Brittany Packnett Cunningham who runs. Um, it's her title is voter engagement something something for BET. I'm getting her
okay.
title wrong. She's the vice president of um, something in communications and voter engagement for BET.
Hmm.
And there was a representative from the When We All Vote
Hmm.
organization that was started by Michelle Obama, and
Yeah.
she said something, and it was about voting, but it applies to so many things in life. She said you have to invest in whoever you vote for. You have to
Hmm.
put forth that investment. And the same can be said for your therapy journey. You have to invest in
Yeah.
it and you have to be patient with it. It's not a one size fits all. It's not a one and done
Right.
situation. You have to be willing to put forth the investment, and sometimes that means what you just said. You get a therapist that just doesn't fit, and it's easy to just say, throw your hands up and say, oh, I quit. I tried and therapy
Right.
wasn't for me, so I'm just going to go back to my toxic ways. No, sis, no, my brother.
Right.
You have to invest in yourself, and it's you have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and look into your own eyes and say, I'm worthy of this investment of improving
Mhm.
myself.
Absolutely.
About that all day. Mm,
Absolutely. Listen, put that on the t-shirt. Have to get
yes,
it. Put that on a t-shirt.
yes,
That's awesome. I love that way of looking at it, right? And we often, especially, talking about us as a people, we haven't had the time to invest in ourselves because there were so many things that we were fighting against, so
yes,
many things that we were trying to get, so many, hurdles and things that we were jumping through, and that we're still jumping through.
yeah,
But
right.
it's good to remember that we're worthy of our own
Mm,
investment.
absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, you're open about your story, you're honest about your story, you're, really just out there with like, this is what I experienced. This is, and you're on a reality TV show, which is, I couldn't imagine all the things that come with that. And so, like, being so open about your mental health challenges and successes, like, have you found that it's helped people? Like, have people come up to you and said, like, you sharing your story has helped?
Yes. It is it's gratifying in a way that I honestly never sought out and never expected. I
Yeah.
think initially me talking about my own mental health journey was cathartic for me,
Hmm.
um, because it just makes me feel less like an alien to just be open about where I am in my life and where I am in my journey. But I get emails, I get DMs, people will tell me their whole story in the comment section, child, about, they just saying thank you for talking about going to therapy. And I encourage people to find a therapist, or I encourage someone to be
Yeah.
honest with a family member or a spouse or a friend about whatever they were going through. Um, and it helped their relationship, or it helped them to put that relationship where it belongs so that they could move on with their lives. That
Yeah.
is, it's a, it's a kind of satisfaction that you honestly, I can't put into words, to know that, well, thank God that being the colorful nut that I am is helping or liberating people. I like to say
Yeah.
that I'm liberating people to walk in their own truths and walk in their own versions of their truth.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think that's That's really awesome because when we do this, like we're giving of ourselves, and you're right, it helps us. But it's really cool, like that it can be put in position to help other people. And so, like this week, this is our Black Youth Suicide Prevention Week, and so we're focusing on our kids, on our babies.
Yes.
And one of the things that we've been talking about, particularly this week, is storytelling and
Mm,
our experiences, and using those. We've all been through stuff. We've all
yeah.
had challenges.
Mhm.
We've all experienced these things. And for a lot of times for our young people, they feel, again, like you said, it makes you feel not like an alien, right? Some of them feel,
Mhm.
that way. So like from your perspective, like how can us sharing our experiences and our own mental health journeys with young people, kind of help them out?
I think for for our youth, it's probably the most important because whereas, you know, our parents, our grandparents, at least, where I come from, I'm from the South. I got a black mama, I got a black grandmama. You
Right.
don't talk about your business in the streets.
Yeah. Right.
It's all about, the family business stays at the kitchen table, and you
Mhm.
could be going through the most gargantuan, devastating, life altering moment of your life, and you step out with a with your head high and with a poker face or with a smile on your face, and you behave as if everything is fine.
Mm,
um that's that was the culture that I grew up with. I
mm,
think that it is so important for us to change that narrative for the generations that come behind us, so that they don't have to feel burdened with the
mm.
idea that they have to pretend to have everything together all the time.
Right.
It is a responsibility almost for us to move in a way and to emote in a way that says it's okay to not be okay all the time.
Right.
And I take that responsibility very seriously. And especially, I say all the time, child, if I had grown up in the age of social media the way that these kids are growing up in it,
Listen, listen.
oh my God, I don't know what I would do. The things that I did, the mistakes that I made, the things that I said, the mess that I saw, that I was witness to.
Right.
Oh, like I just it's a different universe. It's like the
It is.
touchstone for the way that these kids are having to measure up to this immeasurable standard of beauty, of
Flawlessness.
flawlessness.
Yeah.
It's impossible. And
Yeah,
if you didn't hear it before, hear me now when I say it's also not, it's a figment of your imagination. It's not real. And
absolutely.
you are not obligated to live up to anything that you see on social media. You heard it here if you've never heard it before. Don't feel obligated to live up to that. It is not reality. It's just not. And I love a good filter. Okay. But you've got to find your self-worth elsewhere. It is not to be
Right.
found on the pages of the social media. It's not there. So yes, it is it's an important job. It's important work to present ourselves in as an authentic fashion as possible, so that we are creating generations that are coming after us that don't feel the responsibility of that burden.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't imagine it, or just like one bad day, like going viral. Like
Yes,
something that happens in a day, and then
my
like you blink, and then it's just like it's everywhere. Like
everywhere and can't escape it. It's yeah. Mm-mm.
yeah, I couldn't imagine at that age growing up with that. And so like with your platform and you wanting to talk about mental health and help other people manage and be connected to their mental health, like how can we get ourselves, we all have circles of influence. I always tell the young people I work with, you have a circle of influence, even if
Mhm.
it's two people, if it's 50, if it's 500, you
Yep.
have a circle of influence. How can we, you know, just, you know, people with smaller platforms as well as, you know, some people like yourself who have larger platforms, how can we get more people using our circle of influence to start these conversations?
I think it's as easy as you said. You just have to have the conversations. I feel like I call them kitchen table conversations, and those are
Mhm.
those private conversations that you have around your table with the people that you deem worthy of being at your kitchen table, the people that you break bread with. If you're having those honest conversations with your close friends, with the people that you deem your confidants, you are influencing a greater number of human beings than you think. And it's
Mhm.
easy to have close friends and never have honest conversations. Especially like we said, in this age of social media, you could sit around and hang out with your friends for hours, and you're together, but you're doing this. You're on your phone
Right.
the whole, putting the phone to the side. And I'm practicing this now more in my friendships. I've had friends now for 20 years,
Mhm.
and some of my friends, we are only now starting to have real come to Jesus conversations about
Yeah.
mental health, where we are. I have one of my best friends, because I'm known when I'm overwhelmed, I disappear. I go away and I don't
Mhm.
answer the phone. I don't engage. And
Yeah.
my best friend, her name is Sharasa, she will do wellness checks. And
Mhm.
she will say to me, "You answer me or I'm coming to your house."
Right.
And and that's that is that is our way, and that's her honest way of keeping me honest,
Mhm.
and in a way not forcing me, but making me feel comfortable enough to say, I'm not having a good week.
Right.
I'm having a lot of anxiety this week, or I am just not feeling myself right now, or I just feel like I don't want to be here anymore this week.
Right.
Like, that's how I'm feeling right now. And she will launch into whatever action, whether that's bringing me brownies or having a conversation about, whatever, to help pull me out of a funk.
Right.
And I have those same check-in conversations with my girlfriends, friends that I know, that have shared with me that they suffer from anxiety or depression. I will do check-ins, just checking in on you to see how you're feeling. If I don't get an answer, I will go to someone's house. I will send someone to a friend's
Right.
house. And so that is how it works in my orbit and in my inner circles. And again, it's really just about authenticity. It doesn't have to be any, crazy, outlandish, Oprah Winfrey situation.
Right. Right.
You can make a difference just by keeping it real in your circles, and letting the people that you trust in on where you are, and you will liberate them to then feel that they can let you in on where they are. And that
Right.
is how you make change. That's Change happens in little mustard seed microcosms.
Right.
Change does not happen in these big arenas. It happens at home, in your small circles. So if you got, what they say, where two or three are gathered. If you got your two or
Amen.
three, you make a difference, and you make a change in that little microcosm, and that butterfly effect reverberates in ways that you really
Right.
can never even imagine.
Yeah, I tell people when you know, are engaging with somebody and you share your story and you're open, you know, it not only knocks down your wall, but it can
Yeah.
knock down the other person's to realize like, oh, I didn't even, like you said, get into those conversations. Like, I didn't even know I could bring something like this to the table, like bring it to the function, bring it to the conversation, and like,
Yes.
right, and we can actually hash it out. So that's
Mhm.
awesome. So in closing, to wrap up, like if you could give us like 60 seconds, like if there's a young person who's watching this and they're struggling with their mental health and their mental wellness, they're trying to figure out what to do, like give us like 60 seconds of encouragement, particularly like talking to them, to just encourage them to take care of their selves.
Yeah, so you you have to want better for yourself. You have to want to um, hold yourself accountable. And it's so easy for us to live our lives for other people. I'm very guilty of this.
Mhm,
I'm so guilty of living my life for my mama, for my dad, for my husband, for friends of mine, for people that I feel indebted to, that work with me and for me on my teams, managers, agents, people that I've seen pour blood, sweat, and tears into helping me to get to where I want to be in my life. It's easy to live for those people, but
mhm,
you have to live for you first. You have to love yourself first. And I will share something with you that I haven't really talked about with anybody. I, for really the first time, maybe ever, or at least in like 15 years, looked at myself in the mirror, and I looked
mhm,
into my eyes, not at my face, but into my eyes, and said, I love you and you
mhm.
have got this. And it was like a spiritual experience
Yeah,
to talk to myself that way. You just have no idea the power that each of us has when we really channel who we are and who we want to be, and block out all other noise. And that's where it starts. I could give you books and TED Talks and
right,
sermons to listen to.
right,
All of that is like rubbing lotion on a piece of wood. It's not going to permeate. You
right.
you first have to peel back the layers, and that
Mm,
starts with you. You have to want, you have to be motivated to want to do better and be better. And for some of us, that can be challenging because of anxiety, because of depression, which is a disease that you cannot control. And that is not your fault. And that is when you need to employ the help of professionals. And I'm a huge proponent of that. And don't be afraid or embarrassed or ashamed to need a psychiatrist, a therapist, a counselor. If you are in need of medication, I will be very transparent. I have to take lorazepam at times for my
yeah,
anxiety, and that is a real part of my journey. And I share that only because I want you to not be embarrassed or ashamed or afraid to need medication for a spell, for a time, to pull you out of a rut or a funk and get you on a road to where you can control and manage um, depression and manage anxiety. And then I also like to leave people with a quote that I live by. It's like my mantra, and it just says to go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you have imagined for yourself. It's a Thoreau
mm,
quote, and I live
yeah,
by that because if you are moving toward whatever it is you want for yourself, you're going to get it. You are going to get it. You manifest it, you visualize it, it will come to you. I live by
right.
that. So that was like 5 minutes. I'm long winded.
Listen, it was beautiful, and we do, and so many of our young people are talking about living for other people and how the expectations that they see on social media, that their friends have, their parents have, society has, that it's a lot. So hearing like live for yourself is powerful, and going confidently towards your dreams is something that we want to instill in our young people, to say like go and do those things you want to do, like you got it. And that conversation um with you and yourself, like speaking that affirmation to you
Yes.
directly, with everything else like on the peripheral, I think is amazing. And I would encourage any young person listening to this to do the same thing. And so with that, I just want to give you an opportunity to let people know where they can find you, where on social media, where you are, so people can tap in and connect with you.
Yes. So you can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at the Real Candice, which you can see in the bottom corner here. I am very active on social media. You can send me a DM. I try to respond to as many as I can. You can tweet me. I respond to as many tweets as I can. Um, as I said, I am going on tour this October. City Winery is hosting all 5 cities. Will be in DC, Atlanta, Nashville, Philly, and Chicago. Starting October 19th, you can get tickets on citywinery.com. I would love to see you guys. I'm also doing a meet and greet after each show, so you can get tickets to the meet and greet. I would love to see you and Kiki and take photos and all of that jazz. My reality show, The Real Housewives of Potomac, airs on Bravo on October 9th at 8 p.m. That's Sunday, October 9th, 8 p.m. It's going to be a crazy season, so get ready for that. I don't know the dates, but I filmed The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. We went to Thailand. We should be getting some promo for that toward the end of the year, but look out for that as well. My new album, or it's an EP, Deep Space Deluxe, will be dropping very soon, so look out for that. My new single featuring Trina, the song is called Insecure, featuring Trina, the Diamond Princess. Will be out sometime in November, and then the album shortly after that. So look out for that as well. I also just shot my first scripted series called Hush. It will air on All Black TV sometime this fall. We're still waiting on a release date, so look out for that. It's featuring some amazing, talented actors, including myself, Erica Mena, Karen Ward Ross, Joyful Drake. Really, 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 really cool, salacious show. So look out for that. So yeah, that's some of what's going on with me, and I look forward to hearing all the feedback from this week and from this episode. And thank you, Brandon, for having me and for the work that you do in our community with our young Black people. We need more like you, and I would love to continue these conversations.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And again, shout out to the AAKOMA Project. Shout out to Fountain House. Shout out to Dr. Alfie Doolin Noble, who is the executive director of the AAKOMA Project, which is how we got connected. So wanted to shout out all of them. And yeah, I would love to have you come back. I mean, if you can make it happen in that schedule. When you were going down the list, I was like, I'm tired for you. I don't know how you're doing it. It's insane. But it's awesome. And again, we appreciate you using your platform in this way and being so open and willing to jump on. And so thank you so much. And hopefully we'll get you back on again. And best of luck to everything we're going to get. We're going to watch the shows. We're going to get the album. And you're coming to DC. I live in Baltimore, so it's right down the road. So I may have to bring the wife. We have to come out and see that.
Bring your wife. Yes, I would love to meet her. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And we'll talk again soon.
All right. Thank you.